Nancy Zwicky, a dietitian for Northwestern Medicine, West Region, and we're here today doing another segment of Quick Bites for living well. And we do miss everyone out there, but we're trying to still continue to reach you and share some cooking with you. So first off, today's topic is asparagus, and it's in season right now. It's a spring vegetable, and what's really enjoyable is just simply roasted asparagus. So what I would do, I would take a sprig of asparagus, and then you just gently break it. You could tell the breaking point. This part you just get rid of. They call it like woody. It doesn't soften when you cook. So I would break all my pieces of asparagus, and then I just put it on a baking sheet with a little olive oil, and then I just roasted it at 400 degrees. Some people do 425, it's whatever you want to do. And then I squeezed lemon juice onto it too as it was baking, and now it's ready for serving. I'll just give you one tip. I used to do fresh garlic with the lemon juice, olive oil, and asparagus, and I wondered, why am I getting these little blue flecks? And it's a chemical reaction. It's the sulfur in the garlic that's interacting with the acidic type vegetable, or like lemon juice, or even if you were melting butter on the stove, like heat and garlic can also cause it a little blueness. So it doesn't hurt you, but it just might look kind of funny. So I chose not to use garlic this time. The other recipe I wanted to do today is a risotto, and I was kind of going crazy with asparagus here. And risotto is really good. My recipe for that is I just take the container, and there's a recipe on the back, and that's what I follow. So I start with a little olive oil and then cut up onion, and I just saute that a bit. Then I threw in about 1.5 cups of the arborio rice and let it toast a little bit with the olive oil and the onion. And then I start adding, I use this whole container for 1.5 cups of arborio rice. I just add a little bit at a time and keep stirring until I use the whole container. And I like to use the low sodium. I used vegetable broth, but it can be chicken broth. And you could even add a little white wine if you want. I didn't do that today. So it kind of just absorbs. And it does call for butter, but I chose not to add butter. I just use olive oil just to keep it Mediterranean. And then I just chopped up asparagus real fine. So this is another thing you can do with asparagus. Instead of big spears or smaller pieces, you can cut it really fine. And I just threw that into it. And then I also had an ear of corn, and I put corn in here. So risotto is so flexible. You can add different vegetables, but for today it works really nice with asparagus. So that's that. But there's not going to be a recipe on the website. Just follow along on the container. You'll be good. So today's recipe is actually a Mediterranean asparagus salad. So this asparagus is not cooked. So that's kind of cool. You can roast asparagus. It brings out the caramelization. You can saute it. You can do like a stir fry or risotto. You can also just use it raw. Asparagus is a very well tolerated vegetable. Like if someone had to follow a low fiber diet, they could have cooked asparagus and it would be a very mild vegetable versus cruciferous vegetables that are a little more gassy or harder to digest. So we're just going to add all the asparagus in here. This is one whole bunch. I'm doubling the recipe today. And then I just got grape tomatoes. They were on the bigger side, so they're supposed to just cut them in half, but I quartered them as well. So just throw that in. And these are just all fresh vegetables. Then when I went grocery shopping today, this recipe calls for little balls of mozzarella cheese, but as you're all finding, you're not always going to find what you're looking for. So I just got a big ball of the mozzarella cheese and I just diced it up. So no problem there. Did that. And then Kalamata olives, just diced them up. And then this vinaigrette, it's just a little olive oil, and it called for white wine vinegar. I could not get fresh basil, so they referred me to this freeze-dried basil. And I did that, and then garlic, and then I tasted it, which I do recommend doing. Taste your vinaigrettes. And I was like, it still needs something. So I added a little Dijon mustard, and I even added some red wine vinegar. If you don't have white wine vinegar at home, easy substitution. Red wine is totally fine. and then just stirred it up. And it actually seemed like I added too much of this basil, so I took some out and I put in the risotto, so didn't waste anything. So here I'm just gonna add this vinaigrette now. Okay, and then the final thing is pine nuts. And so pine nuts sometimes can be a little bit expensive, but I was gonna substitute almond slivers, but as it turned out, these were less expensive, so I just went this route. But that's what you have to do during these times, is see what you have on hand. You don't have to have multiple vinegars, like either one is fine, and just make do. Because prices are going up for food out there, I noticed, and maybe you have to leave something out that you may not even need to add the pine nuts. You could even substitute walnuts if you wanted. It would be totally fine if you have those on hand. So this is a real pretty colorful salad and goes nice with any meal. And you've got your roast asparagus and you've got your risotto. Asparagus is high in antioxidants, it's low in calories, it's got fiber, it's really good for you, and so just start including it. Sometimes asparagus is known to have just a short season, but green asparagus is year-round. It's the white asparagus and purple asparagus that has the shorter season, so you don't have to worry about not getting it. And we have this little display here of fresh vegetables. That's what we do promote here, is the Mediterranean diet or lifestyle. We try to stay away from a lot of processed foods, so just making your own salad dressing, incorporating fresh vegetables. And you can see with the risotto, you can easily change things up. You could do green beans in here as well. So enjoy and stay safe out there.